Hi everyone, Ment here. Welcome to my next lesson in my series, Frequently Asked Questions from Private Lessons. If you're interested in booking a private lesson with me via Skype, or if you would like to see the other lessons in this series, please check out the links in the description below. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about ornamenting arpeggios. We've been looking at the tune Honeysuckle Rose. We've talked about how we can use the melody as an outline for basic solos, how we can ornament that melody to make our solos a little more interesting. We've talked about the 3-finger rule within the context of the melody and then anchoring the melody to the chords that are underneath it. Now we're going to talk about how we can create longer lines in between our melody. So whenever we're talking about 2-5 changes, a really easy way to begin to navigate the changes is just to think of one chord within the 2-5 change. So this is a common thing that would take place during the swing and bop eras. So a swing era idea would be whenever you're playing over the 2-5, you just play the 5 chord. So if we're playing Honeysuckle Rose and we're playing the G minor to C7, they would just play C7. If we're kind of going into the bop era at the end of the swing era, we're going to be focusing on the minor chord. So we would just play the G minor over the 2-5. And then eventually they kind of remerge and you bring both of them in. So today we're going to start off with the minor chord. We're going to start off with the G minor and looking at the triad, approaching the triad with chromatics and approach notes. And we're also going to look at extensions, specifically the 9th. So to start off, we've got G, B flat, D, and G, right, for our triad. Now to think about our ornamentation of it, just our approach notes, we've got F sharp to G, A to B flat, D flat to D, F sharp to G. So those are just our half-step approaches into the arpeggio there. So if we're just playing around with that and just going back and forth between G minor and C7 and eventually resolving to F, I'm not necessarily thinking about trying to be right on with the changes to this tune. It's just kind of a practice and just kind of hearing how this sounds across it. So if we're playing just the G minor to C7, the 2-5, and Honeysuckle Rose, and we're just going... So you can kind of hear how that's bringing a lot of the swing era sounds out, especially with the rhythmic influence and just kind of lightheartedness of the playing there. Now, let's incorporate that back with the melody. So if we're playing, as we've talked about in previous lessons, the melody in this position. Now with the kind of solo. So just kind of another example of that. I'll do one more through it. So that is just kind of a basic way, right, to begin to outline that G minor chord, not thinking about the C7 at all. Now let's throw in the 9th. So we've got the G minor chord here, and then with our pinky, we can grab that 9th, right? So that's our A. And so just practicing the arpeggio, G, B flat, D, G, A, or we could skip over the G and just go straight to A, G, B flat, D, and then come down. So kind of with outside the context of the tune, just kind of hearing how it sounds against the 2/5. So 1, 2, 3. With that resolve there, maybe kind of going backwards. Okay, so now putting that within the context. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now, so we've heard kind of it going upwards and downwards. Now we can put in some of the approach notes, right, to the triad. What I would recommend with this is start off with the approach notes simply, just do maybe one, and then go up the chord, play the arpeggio, right, and then kind of resolve or maybe play another approach note and come back down. So just keep it simple to start. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, just to hear it. Again, 1, 2, 3. So you can just kind of hear how one simple approach note from somewhere in the chord and then playing the arpeggio down does the trick. So let's try some more in context. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now that was pretty simple. Let's kind of doll it up a little more and add a few more approach notes within the arpeggio. So instead of doing just one and into the arpeggio, now we might do 2 or 3. Like that, or coming down. Okay, so we'll put that in context. Another example. Okay, so now within kind of the context of it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's now playing with the 9 on top. Let's do it within the chord. So we've got G, A here, the octave lower, B flat, D, and then we can go G or A. So you have a really nice sound here. The little approach. And we do the same thing downwards. You might recognize that. It's Crimea River. And that's just kind of a nice way of coloring within that chord too, not just the extension. So within context. resolving there. So let's put it into the tune. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so hopefully some of those ideas can get you going of just thinking simply over the 2-5 change. Again, just think of one of the chords in the 2-5, either the minor or the dominant 7, and then just begin working on playing up and down that arpeggio and just adding in kind of basic ornamentation with the approach notes and chromatics, and then adding in the extension, specifically the 9 in this case, but we can add more as we do this in more lessons, and then just simply resolving it down into the F chord. Do that if you're interested in booking a lesson, kind of expanding on any of these topics I'm covering in these videos, or any questions regarding Western swing, country jazz, swing, bebop, or country guitar, please drop me a message in the link below, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.